Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something lots of us struggle with, staying motivated to exercise. Actually sticking with it.
Yeah, it's that gap between wanting to move more and, well, actually doing it consistently.
Exactly. And we're looking at this through the lens of Dr. Sirta Ramvishnoi's work with Lifelines by Supremediq. He calls consistent movement the lifeline to lasting health. I like that phrase.
It's a good one. We've been digging into his article, Motivated to Move, Lifelines by Supremediq, and also the podcast episode, How to Stay Motivated to Move.
Right. And Dr. Vishnoi, he's a physician, a wellness advocate. He really blends that medical insight with practical tech and health ideas.
His focus seems to be on making health principles work in the real world.
So our mission today is basically to pull out the most practical tips, those mindset shifts, the strategies from these sources that can help you, listening right now, build that consistency, even if you're super busy or just, not feeling it.
And it's interesting because the Lifelines by Supremediq platform itself is designed for this exact purpose.
How so?
Well, it tracks activity, gives you personalized plans, motivational nudges, connects you to a community, even has mental health resources. It's all about closing that intention-action gap we mentioned.
Okay, so it's trying to provide that support structure.
Precisely. Which leads us nicely into the first big idea from the sources. Really understanding your personal why.
Your why, meaning your reasons for running to move in the first place.
Exactly. It's fundamental. The podcast episode really pushes you to ask yourself some key questions.
Like what sort of questions?
Things like, are you trying to boost your overall health? Do you just want more energy day to day?
Or maybe reduce stress. That's a big one for many people.
Yeah, or improve strength, flexibility. It's about getting clear on those underlying drivers.
Because just wanting to, say, look a certain way might not be enough to keep you going long term.
That seems to be the point Dr. Vishnoi makes. When you connect movement to deeper values, like feeling healthier, more vital, less stressed, the motivation is, well, it's stickier. It feels less like a chore.
Right. It becomes more personally meaningful. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you've figured out your why, what's next. How do you translate that into action without, burning out after a week?
The classic problem. The sources really emphasize setting realistic goals, achievable ones.
Not deciding you're suddenly going to run a marathon next month if you haven't run in years.
Exactly. That kind of ambition, while maybe admirable, often just leads to discouragement. It's too much, too soon.
We've all been there, right? That initial burst of enthusiasm followed by, reality.
Totally. So the strategy is to break down those big, maybe long-term aspirations into smaller, manageable steps.
Okay, give me an example.
The podcast used a good one. Let's say your big goal is to run a 5K, instead of just trying to run 5K tomorrow.
Which would probably end badly.
Right. A better short-term goal might be, okay, this week I'll walk for 15 minutes each day. Then maybe next week you add in a few short jogging intervals during that walk.
Gradual progression, building up slowly.
Yes. And this is important, celebrating those small steps, acknowledging the progress.
Because hitting that 15-minute walk goal feels good.
Right.
And it makes you feel like, okay, I can do this.
Precisely. It feeds back into your motivation. Each small win makes the next step seem less daunting. It's like building momentum.
Okay, so understand your why. Set realistic, smaller goals. Got it. Now, how do we make it stick? How do we actually make movement a regular part of life?
Routine, consistency, that's the drumbeat throughout the sources. Turning movement into a habit, not just something you do when you feel like it.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, definitely. But there are practical ways. The podcast suggested treating your workouts like important meetings.
Like actually scheduling them.
Yeah.
Putting them in your calendar.
Yeah. Block out the time. It signals that it's a priority.
That simple act can make a difference, I guess. What else?
Figuring out the best time of day for you. Are you a morning person? Do you get an energy dip mid-afternoon that exercise could help with? Or is evening better?
Aligning it with your own energy levels.
Right. And starting small is key here too. Even short sessions, but done consistently. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever fits realistically.
The consistency is more important than the duration, especially at the beginning.
Exactly. Build the habit first, then you can think about increasing duration or intensity later.
Okay, now let's talk about enjoyment. Because if it feels like pulling teeth, you're probably not going to stick with it long term, no matter how good your routine is.
Absolutely critical. Fun is a huge, huge factor in sustainability. If you dread it, you'll find excuses.
So how do we make it more enjoyable? The podcast had some ideas, right?
It did. Trying different things is a big one. Don't just stick to the treadmill if you hate it. Maybe try dancing, cycling, swimming, hiking.
Keep it fresh. Avoid monotony.
Yes. And mixing it up can be good for your body, too. Plus, pairing it with stuff you already like.
Like listening to music. Or a great podcast, perhaps.
Exactly. Music, podcasts, audiobooks, whatever makes the time fly and keeps you engaged.
What about the social aspect?
That's another good one. Joining a group fitness class, maybe online or locally, or just finding a friend to walk with.
Yeah, having that community or even just one other person
Yeah.
can add accountability, make it more fun.
Definitely. That social connection, knowing someone might be waiting for you or just sharing the experience, it can be a powerful motivator, especially on those days when you're just not feeling up to it.
Okay, so finding fun, mixing it up, maybe getting social. What about seeing results? Does that help motivation?
Oh, absolutely. Tracking your progress is another key strategy highlighted in the sources.
Why is that so powerful?
Because seeing concrete evidence that your effort is paying off, it's incredibly reinforcing. It shows you're moving forward.
So how do you track? What do they suggest?
Well, technology helps here.
Yeah.
Using fitness apps to log workouts, count steps, maybe track calories if that's relevant to your goals.
Okay, the techie route. What else?
Keeping it simple works too. A fitness journal just noting down what you did for how long and maybe crucially how you felt afterwards.
Connecting it back to those feelings, the benefits.
Exactly. And visual methods can be motivating too, maybe progress photos or noticing how your clothes fit differently or tracking measurements over time.
And small changes.
Especially the small changes. The point is that all progress counts. Recognizing it helps keep you going.
It seems like a lot of this comes down to where you put your focus.
I mean,
Well, it's easy to focus on the discomfort, right? Like, ugh, I'm tired, or this hill is hard.
true. We often default to noticing the struggle.
But the sources suggest shifting that focus.
Yes, very much so. Consciously shift your attention to the benefits. How does your body feel after you move? More energized, stronger, calmer.
Focusing on the positive payoff, not just the effort.
Right. And the mental benefits too, the stress relief, the clarity, reminding yourself why you're doing it and connecting the activity to those positive outcomes.
So reframing it, instead of I have to exercise, it's more like I get to move my body and feel better.
That's a great way to put it. That mental shift can really help you push through moments of discomfort, seeing them as temporary steps towards a bigger positive goal.
Okay. We mentioned the social aspect with groups, but what about finding one specific person, an accountability partner?
Yes, the podcast really highlighted this. Finding a workout buddy can be a game changer for some people.
Having someone else invested in your routine.
Exactly. Someone to share goals with, someone to give you a nudge when your motivation dips, someone to just make it more enjoyable.
Knowing you're not in it alone.
Right. And you provide that support for them too. It's mutual. It adds a layer of commitment.
And if you can't find someone locally,
The sources suggested looking online, finding virtual workout buddies, joining online fitness communities or groups within apps. There are ways to build that support network even remotely.
that's good to know. Okay, so we've got all these strategies. Find your why, set goals, build routine, make it fun, track progress, focus on benefits, get support. But what happens when, life gets in the way or your motivation just tanks? Because it does.
It absolutely does, and that's okay. The key, according to the sources, is reflection and adjustment. It's not about never falling off. It's about getting back on.
So not being rigid about it.
Exactly. Motivation isn't constant. It ebbs and flows. So you need to check in with yourself regularly.
Ask yourself some honest questions.
Yeah, like the podcast suggested. What's actually working for me right now? What's not working and why? Am I bored? Is my schedule different?
And then being willing to change things up based on those answers.
Precisely. Maybe you need to try a new activity. Maybe you need to adjust the time you exercise. Maybe your goals need tweaking. Being adaptable is crucial for long-term success. Don't just stick to something that's clearly not working anymore.
Okay, so pulling it all together,
Yeah.
it really sounds like motivation isn't just something you either have or you don't. It's something you build, you cultivate.
Yeah, through all these different pieces. Understanding yourself, setting smart goals, making it routine but also enjoyable, seeing your progress, focusing positively, finding support, and being flexible.
It brings us back to that Dr. Vishnoi quote, "Motivation is the spark, but consistent movement is the lifeline. The spark might fade, but you can build the lifeline."
That sums it up nicely. We've covered a lot of ground, a lot of different approaches. Is there anything that particularly stands out to you thinking about applying this?
For me, I think it's that combination of starting small and really focusing on enjoyment. It feels less overwhelming, like
Mhm.
something you can actually integrate without turning your whole life upside down immediately.
Yeah, making it sustainable from the start.
So maybe the question for you listening
Yeah.
is, which one or two of these ideas feel most relevant to you right now? What's one small thing you can maybe try today or tomorrow?
Just one small step to start building or strengthening that connection with movement.
And we should mention, this deep dive was brought to you by Supremediq Consultancy, PVT Ltd. They're the people behind Lifelines by Supremediq, and their mission is all about empowering healthcare, strengthening communities.
Ultimately, this journey to consistent movement and better well-being, it's yours.
Absolutely. So we hope this discussion gave you some practical ideas to help you prioritize that journey and build your own lifeline to lasting health.